Hey everyone, it's Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge, back for another amazing Forbidden Knowledge podcast. Today we're going to talk everything ancient civilizations, ancient Egypt, with my very good friend, Robert Edward Grant. He's a polymath, he's a best-selling author, he's a former Entrepreneur of the Year and former TV Host of the Year. He has a great TV show on Gaia, which we'll talk about as well. But today he's on the Forbidden Knowledge podcast. What's up, Robert?
Good to be here with you, Billy.
Hey, man. You just got back from Egypt just a little while ago.
I did.
A few weeks ago.
I did. It was an epic trip.
Nice, man. You know, it seems like you're going quite a bit lately.
I think I went like 5 times last year.
Yeah, I remember. I was with you on one of those excursions for a short period of time. Now, with Egypt, as we both know, there are so many hidden mysteries. It's for me, one of the greatest places on earth to go back and revisit. I've been to a lot of ancient sites around the world, but what I see that's kind of consistent with those sites outside of Egypt is there's not a lot of new discoveries. Every now and then there might be something, but Egypt, it seems like every other day something is being discovered, right?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Especially recently.
Yes, right.
And it's making headline news.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a big reveal coming, and it's kind of unfolding right now, and it has its own agenda almost. It's definitely got its own pace.
Right. It's just mind-blowing that a lot of the stuff that you talked about, a lot of the stuff that you had written about, a lot of the stuff that you had downloaded and then researched and validated is now all coming to light. You know, so let's talk about this great brand new discovery of these hidden rooms and these huge columns going deep beneath the earth underneath the pyramids right now.
Well, first I want to just say, you know, I think it's a pretty amazing assertion as well as the research findings. And I actually did a 3.5-hour podcast on this with an expert by the name of Dr. Manu Safzadeh. He wrote the book Under the Sphinx. And he's on a team that is like researching this stuff like ad nauseum. I mean, like completely. And we went through the actual mechanism of action of how they can use this synthetic aperture radar technology and why it works. I mean, and I'll give a short kind of thesis around it for everyone here. You could basically say that the satellite is sending pulses, right, down to the surface of Earth. And then the way that the echo, as it bounces and reverberates off of the Earth and down into the Earth, is coming back, has slight variations. And of course, they have to remove the Schumann resonance. They remove all of the other exogenous factors. And then just look for the differences that are left over. Those differences is what defines what this radar imagery is showing, okay? So when you look at it, it doesn't look much like you look at the thing and you're like, well, wait a minute, how can you see something? It's not like you've got some clear, you know, radar that you could see like you would expect to see in the ocean or something like that with like a Doppler radar or, you know, or on weather photography, and you can kind of see a lot of things. This one, you could see less, but the fact that there's any difference at all, right? And that's what you need to look for, is the difference in the artifacts. The fact that there's any difference at all tells you that the composition of whatever's down there is something different. Now, whether that's man-made or that's a natural formation, right? That's going to be the subject of more research. And also, how would it work with like very large open spaces? And how does it work with water? Because it seems to act differently with water as well. So these are all the myriad questions that are left over from this. And we don't really have another way to test for false positives right now, right? And so So I think one of the things, I just want to just put that out there. It's really interesting. It's very exciting data. It seems to be confirming a lot of what many people believed for a long time, and including yourself. But at the same time, it's still not what I could say absolutely irrefutable, right? And I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. No, absolutely fair. We got to give both sides. I think that there's been a lot of references to some type of subsurface structures underneath the Giza Plateau in a lot of texts, and even in people that have been channelers and things like that. And if this is true, if these objects that they've scanned for are really there, what does that mean, and what could they possibly be used for?
Well, if it's true that those objects are really there, it's going to rewrite all of human history. I mean, that's why it's so, the response to this has been so excitable as well as vitriolic. Because there's a lot of people that are like, wait, this is going to challenge their own worldview of what the world even is. Because to think that these could go, some people are saying that it could go, extend all the way down to 2 kilometers underneath Khafre Pyramid. That's deep.
That's crazy.
That's really, really
it's
deep.
Mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling. I mean, that's like, about 1.2 miles, right? When you think of it like that, that's really damn deep. And it'd be hard for us with our technology today to get down to that level. It would really be challenging, right? Because also, as you go down, right, deeper and deeper, temperature rises. So the temperature down at about that distance is going to be something like, 20 degrees warmer than what it would be for us here on the surface. And it's already hot in Egypt. So, I mean, think about that. It's like, how in the heck would it get down there? And then what are these structures? I mean, they're portrayed in the imagery as being cylindrical structures. Is it like long staircases? There's spirals, around, right? Also on the outside of it, is it some sort of shock absorber system, right? Who knows? If we don't know yet what the composition of what these spirals are.
Cables, who knows?
Is it like something so that the pyramid can withstand, seismic activity or something? We simply do not know. And so I think it's probably early to say what it is. I think first and foremost, the fact that it's showing up differently, that's what I took away from the radar. If anything shows up differently down there and you can find any coherence to the structure at all, then there is probably likely something down there. Right? Because it's just the way the technology works is going to give you some of that. Now, I will say that in 2022, the same group, so this is the Biondi Malanga researchers, right, from Italy. And I reached out to Professor Malanga yesterday. So Biondi Malanga. And basically what they found in 2022 was they did the same type of scan. And what made this so fast and seemed like it came out of the, a shot in the dark type of thing, was that they don't need permission from the government because they're just using satellites. Right. There's not like a thing where they've got to go to the Ministry of Antiquity and get approval to look under this thing. They don't need any of that. So of course that sort of upends the whole thing, because then the people that might be the guard, the gates, guarding the gates of the history and the narrative.
And we have some out there doing that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They can't really say that much about it. Right. And they can't even refute it much, because until they go out and dig. And so what it does is it sort of puts it in situations like, okay, prove that it's not there.
Exactly.
Right. So then they have to dig it out. And there's, it's going to be an interesting thing now. Right. So it's like right now the narrative is the sort of radar shows you have to prove that it's not there now. And to prove that it's not there might actually prove that it is.
Exactly.
So it's going to really be controversial.
But
in 2022, Biondi and Malanga came out with this paper as well that showed, coincidentally, 22 new structures inside of the Great Pyramid. Now, a lot of people right now, because the paper on the Khafre Pyramid and the underground section of the Khafre Pyramid hasn't yet come out. So it's not even out yet. This was a leak that a fellow named Trevor basically was given permission. It was an approved leak of some of the imagery from a conference that they held and they presented on it at. But the paper itself has not yet been submitted. And so a lot of people on the internet are saying, oh, this is fake news because this is not a paper and this is just what we already known from a paper back in 2022. No, it's not the same thing at all. The structure that was reviewed in the 22 paper were the 22 new artifacts that were inside of the Great Pyramid showing a ramp system as well as several possible chambers. Now, there are, again, give some fair balance on this. When you've got large open spaces, you have some challenge with it, right? Because why? The same system was not able to read even the current King's Chamber inside of, or Belzoni's Chamber is what it's called, inside of Khafre Pyramid.
Yeah.
So that puts some major questions on the data. But remember, the way the mechanism works is going to be showing the difference. So it should show something. So we don't know exactly why that's the case. Okay. Also, the void space, the great void space that was found by the Muon scan, by the Japanese delegation in 2017, showed up in the same general location. So they also showed a large void space on the SAR scan. So that seemed to match. But a lot of these other structures that they're showing have not shown up on any of the Muon scans yet. So they had 22 new structures inside of the Great Pyramid.
Wow.
And so I think we have to kind of wait for the data of the paper to come out.
Yeah.
But I will say this, I read the paper in 2022. It is definitely a solid piece of science. It is, I mean, it's good in the mathematics department of it because it shows all the mathematics of the technology and exactly how it was reviewed and how it was used for this purpose is like a top-notch physics paper.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, this let's just presuppose that all this information is accurate. And now we have to think of the engineering feat. We have to think of what's been told to us by mainstream and by pretty much just religious organizations is that potentially they believe slaves had a lot to do with building these pyramids. When obviously we know that slaves didn't build pyramids because we see the records of them getting paid. We see their injuries and, like insurance where they got their arm repaired and there are the broken legs repaired. But let's take a look at this feat of engineering, the level of engineering that it would take to do this. It's probably more magnificent than building the Great Pyramid itself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to get down, what we're saying is that they have a pretty clear line of sight to, something over 600 meters underneath the pyramid. I mean, 600 meters, to put that in perspective, that's, 3 times the height of Khafre Pyramid. Khafre Pyramid's 144 meters.
Yeah.
So you've got 144 meters, right? It's going to be, 4 times 600 meters.
Yeah.
That's actually 4 times the height of the pyramid itself.
Beneath the ground.
Beneath the ground. I mean, come on.
And what if these columns are there and they're not even, interlocking blocks or whatever mechanism they use to build them? What if they're one piece? I mean, that would be amazing. We don't know. We don't know.
But I do. It's funny because I remember somebody posted, and this is where consciousness comes in, right? Because has this been somewhere in the collective consciousness? Well, we've seen this like on memes.
All the time, for years.
For memes, where they show like these fingers of these gigantic obelisks, and the top of the obelisk is each of the pyramids.
Right.
And you kind of look at that and laugh, and you're like, okay, that's ridiculous. And then we see this, and we're like, what? Are you kidding me?
It's just circulating into consciousness. This technology is so amazing. I saw Christopher Dunn kind of, comment and allude to the fact that this is an engineering feat like outside of this world. When we look at the ancient Egyptians and we look at what they were able to accomplish, it seems like a lot of this really incredible engineering work might have been done pre-dynastic era. I mean, it just seems to me, I know dynastic era, they did accomplish and build a lot of great things, but some of the stuff seems to be like really, really old. What are your views on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, you can tell, and this is true not only in Egypt, but also in Peru, in Mexico. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely see where things are dynastic and things are pre-dynastic and prehistory altogether. Yeah. And the size of the blocks is what gives it away.
Yes, exactly.
It's always that the more recent stuff is small block construction, and the ancient stuff is very large block construction. We see this at Ollantaytambo. We see this in Peru. We see this in Machu Picchu as well.
Yeah.
We see it in Mexico. We see it in Turkey. We see it even in Japan, right? And we're definitely seeing it in the same type of construction as well.
Yeah.
We definitely see this in Egypt, all over Egypt. I mean, you look at the Osirian, for example, the Osirian in Abydos, that has a large block construction.
Yeah.
Right? You've got 80, 100-ton blocks that are used to make some of the columns and pillars there. you got the same thing happening at Giza. And the small stone or the small block constructions are the ones that don't have the same symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
So we're told that the oldest pyramid, right, in Egypt is the Step Pyramid at Djoser.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's one of the more recent pyramids.
Absolutely. For sure. That's my opinion.
There are 9 pyramids that have large block construction.
Yeah.
Right. Those 9 pyramids with large block construction are made with a knowledge that predates anything. And all of those pyramids have etchings on the walls and petroglyphs that are inside of the atomic structure of the walls.
Wow.
And just as we found and discovered inside the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber, and also not only in the King's and Queen's Chamber, but also in Khafre Pyramid, in the Belzoni's Chamber, we found similar etchings. We found similar etchings as well inside of Menkaure Pyramid, in the King's Chamber inside the Menkaure Pyramid. Wow. And it's depicting what looks to be a garden scene with trees of life and serpents.
Wow. Now, I know that you've discovered a lot of these amazing etchings into the actual stone itself. Why do you think it's taken so long for us to finally see these etchings?
I think because, first of all, you don't find something unless you're looking for it.
True. We're told nothing's in there.
And we're told nothing's in there. So we're literally not trying to find something. And so tell me how you're going to find something when you're not trying to find it.
True.
Okay. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. Right. And that's a profound way to look at our existence. Right. So I think there are a lot of things, we can look at a bird, for example, and there are these little, so a crow. So we think a crow is black, right? We think the crow is black. But actually, if you look really closely at a crow, with the sunlight hitting it just right, you'll see it's iridescent and it's rainbow colored.
Wow.
Now, unless you actually take a moment to get past the fear, for whatever reason, people have an aversion towards crows, you will not notice the beautiful rainbow colors that is a crow. And the reason why we have these limitations, in a way, is the same reason why birds can see so much more than we can. So we have a color spectrum that we can only see so much. In order for you to be able to perceive something, your retina, your eye must be resonating at the frequency of the thing you're seeing. So if the thing you're seeing is iridescence, right, then your eye has to be able to have the resonance frequency range to be able to see that iridescence. Other birds would see crows as these beautiful, completely rainbow colored birds.
Wow.
That's because they're seeing it in a higher dimension. And they have a larger spectrum. They can see all the they can see the ultraviolet spectrum. They can see the infrared spectrum much better than we can, right? Especially the ultraviolet spectrum. If we could see everything, we're only seeing less than 1%.
Right, facts.
Right, of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. So we're seeing a tiny, tiny, tiny portion of it.
We don't see gamma rays, X-rays, infrared, ultraviolet, multispectrum, none of that.
Exactly. And so I believe that these etchings were actually put into the walls of the pyramid using thought.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is you're familiar with the work of Veda Austin on water? So where, and Masaru Emoto as well, where you can basically flash freeze water and put a thought into that water, and then the picture of that thought will show up in the frozen image.
That's right.
Right? The same image and the same exact thing happens with liquid crystal. And now the research is showing that the same thing is happening with silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide is what? Quartz crystal.
Quartz crystal, yeah.
So what is the King's Chamber? What are these walls made out of?
Quartz crystals. That's
Quartz crystal, right? There's much as the King's Chamber, and a lot of people think it's only 55%, and I even quoted that. I've talked to geologists, and I've looked at it all through ChatGPT and all through the internet, and found that actually granite has a composition of greater than 77% quartz crystal.
Really? Wow.
So you're literally looking at walls of memory.
Yeah. Wow. I can believe that. Yeah, because crystals, to me, are alive. They can duplicate. They can communicate. They have a vibration. They can. They have energy. That's what a lighter is. When you flick a lighter, the spark comes from the crystal inside the lighter being pressurized and releasing a spark. Then the flame catches it. The fuel catches it and creates a flame. So they have a lot of aspects of what we have, and I believe that they're also conscious. So I can see how, and also the ancient Egyptians revered a lot of these structures and these statues with all this crystal diorite and crystal granite. They believed that they were alive.
So I believe that whatever you put in the higher dimension, that you create through higher dimension, like let's say thought created something, so therefore it ends up in higher dimension, right? The only way you can perceive it is in higher dimension. So what's happening is it's just like UFOs. In my book, UAPs, UFOs, the reason why we're seeing it so much now is not that it's so much increasing. It's because we are moving into higher dimension and our perception range is expanding. And as our perception range expands, we get to see more of these things.
Right.
And the reason why I was able to see it is because I spend so much time doing geometry. And so geometry allows you to really advance and evolve your pattern recognition. And pattern recognition becomes a core aspect of this life experience. It's how we define intelligence. And you know, the funny thing is a lot of people would say, oh, well, wait, that's just pareidolia. Well, what's the opposite of pareidolia? It's just lower consciousness.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. In a mind matrix reality, the lack or inability to perceive pattern that's there is just ignorance. And we call it entropy. That's the funny thing about it. We literally call ignorance, because we don't like the word ignorance, because it implies we don't know something. We say that, when we think, I mean, if you think about the course of humanity, we have expanded consciousness many, many times. And as we do, we go from learning that, okay, here's a diameter, but what's the relationship of a diameter to a circle? Well, in the beginning, someone said it's 22/7, right? That's 3.14285, but it's not exactly 22/7. So as we expanded our consciousness, we pushed the boundary to understand that pi, after that, someone said, no, a more accurate depiction of pi, it is an equation, is actually going to be a ratio of 355 divided by 113. And that gives you 3.14015926. So it gives you like 6 decimal digits of accuracy. But then someone came along and said, no, there's actually an infinite equation we can do for this. And each time we learn more and more, we've expanded the zone of I know what I know. I know what I don't know, but we don't have a name yet for anything that goes beyond that zone, which is, I don't even know what I don't know. Right? So we call that boundary condition between I know what I don't know and I know I don't even know what I don't know. We call that entropy. That's a convenient way to call it. But actually, entropy is just a word we use to describe a pattern that we haven't yet perceived.
It's a
because
degrading
everything
pattern.
is patterned.
Entropy is a degrading pattern.
That's right. Sometimes you have to just zoom out farther and farther to be able to see and perceive the pattern. Right? And so that's what we're learning through life, is how to zoom out and see how things are connected. How we connect our own patterns in our life will determine whether or not, you know, we learn the things that we hope to learn in this lifetime. And I think that that's what we're starting to realize. You know, I look at it like this. You've heard of the quadrivium. The quadrivium is like an approach that the Hermetists used to learn, which is, you know, it's a polymathic approach. So you have geometry, you have arithmetic, you have music, you have cosmology, right? Those are the 4 things. Well, number in itself is arithmetic. Number in space is geometry. Number in time is music. Number in space-time is cosmology. But now we're entering a new area of number in time-space. Number in time-space. Number in time-space is purpose. Because now we start to see that time doesn't only flow forwards, but it also flows backwards. That there was a destiny to this whole story, this epic of Gilgamesh, this hero's journey. And that is what we all realize that we're on. And consciousness has embedded this. So the reason why they haven't been seen is multifactorial. It's also because they've scrubbed the walls.
True.
They scrub the walls and they have this white chemical that they leave on the walls every time after I've been there. And I'm like, please don't do this anymore.
I don't know why they keep doing that.
Because they want to clean the pyramid, right? It's like a bathroom. So, but the thing is, and I can understand, they're just trying to do their job. But the good news is that these things are in the atomic structure. So when we did the LiDAR scans, we could use the LiDAR scans to be able to define those very minute differences. And you can see them. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. And so once we started to figure out that there was a pattern to it as well, that, okay, there's a woman riding what looks like a winged horse that's shooting an arrow at an eagle. Oh, those are all the deacon of astrology. Those are part of the 48 constellations that are the 36 of which are assigned to the 12 of the Zodiac. And those are all assigned to Capricorn and Aquarius. They're all adjacent to each other. And then, well, wait, if that's the Aquila, the eagle on the east wall, then next to the Aquila must be Piscis Austrinus. Is there a Vesica shape of a fish next to it? Oh, there is. So then we were able to define and ascertain all of 40 out of 48 of the constellations.
Wow, that's amazing.
All over the world.
It's like a story just unfolding on the walls.
There's a story unfolding on, and that is exactly what it is. I mean, if you look at the King's Chamber in particular, why does it have a 2-to-1 shape? Why is it a rectangular shape? Why is the sarcophagus in the back of the room? It wasn't always in the back of the room.
Right.
I believe it was in the center of the room originally, which would be in keeping with how they did everything else.
Yeah, symmetry.
The first discovery that we made along the north wall of the King's Chamber is the Apis bull, which is exactly a reference to the Alpha, or Aleph, as it's referred to, which means bull. And as we look at this bull, we can recognize that the bull has a diamond-shaped figure over its heart, and another that seems to be inverted beneath it. The bull also has characteristics where we can see its horns, and it seems to take on a look that's similar to some of the cave paintings that are found in France, that date all the way back to many tens of thousands of years. We'll also notice that around the bull is a larger cow, possibly a reference to the Hathor, the mother of the Apis bull. In the mythology, the Apis bull has to sacrifice himself to subsume and be subsumed back into the mother Hathor by and through the death of his egoic experience and mind. As we look around the room, we also notice that on the west wall of the King's Chamber, we see the face of a lion. And also on the south wall, immediately across from where we find the Apis bull and the Hathor, we can also see a scorpion, as well as a snake and a man. This man representation we find is actually a representation etched into the stone of what is often referred to as the 13th zodiac sign of Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus, Asclepion, even Thoth. As we look at the east wall across from the sarcophagus, we can see the outline of a woman riding a winged horse. The winged horse is a representation of Pegasus. The woman, the representation of Delphinus. And additionally, she's shooting a bow and arrow. And the bow and arrow representing Sagitta. The arrow pointed directly to, with a prominent arrowhead being very visible, the Aquila, a large eagle or thunderbird. These we might recognize are all astronomical constellations representing Capricorn. We can now see that all of the 12 zodiac signs are represented with all of the walls in precisely the correct locations. The decan of astrology are 36 different astronomical constellations that fit within each zodiac sign, including the Orion constellation, also become visible to us and to our perspective. As we go around the room and we notice that all of the 48 in total constellations at the time of Ptolemy are represented, and that the decan of astrology are in fact the calendrical decan that were represented in the Atlantean calendar, it starts to raise significant questions as to what the purpose of this room actually is. Locations. The decan of astrology are 36 different astronomical constellations that fit within each zodiac sign, including the Orion constellation, also become visible to us and to our perspective. As we go around the room and we notice that all of the 48 in total constellations at the time of Ptolemy are represented, and that the decan of astrology are in fact the calendrical decan that were represented in the Atlantean calendar. It starts to raise significant questions as to what the purpose of this room actually is. Why also does it take on this 2-to-1 rectangular form? One of the possible answers to this question might be that as we traverse through our 24,000-year precession of equinox, our North Star position changes from star to star every 6,000 years approximately. Currently, it's Polaris. Polaris is in the constellation of Ursa Minor. But 6,000 years ago, it was in Thuban. And Thuban was our North Star. Thuban is part of the Dracos constellation. But 6,000 years before that, or approximately 12,000 years ago, it was Vega. And then finally, Cygnus constellation, housing within it the star Deneb, which would have been our North Star 24,000 years ago. As we look into the night sky, we'll notice that all four of those stars together take the orientation of a 2-to-1 rectangle matching that of the King's Chamber. We'll also note that the original position of the sarcophagus, we strongly believe to have been the center of this room and structure, because even the Orion constellation itself takes on the same 2-to-1 rectangular form and shape, with the 3 belt stars exactly being framed by the proportional structure of the sarcophagus. What was in the sarcophagus still remains a mystery. Some believe this might actually be the place where the Ark of the Covenant was held before Moses took it out, and the astronomical symbols of the Zodiac all being prominent flags and standards represented by the children of Israel in the encampment of the tabernacle, each representing the 4 faces of the 4 walls. The face of a man, the face of an ox, the face of a lion, and the face of an eagle. These are the 4 faces represented in the book of Ezekiel for the children of Israel in their encampment. Is the King's Chamber telling us something more? That if the sarcophagus is in the right position at its center point, covering the 3 belt stars, and we look around the room with each block having a different X, Y, Z axis, and each having a different constellation associated and tied to it, the 144 blocks tying together to the 48 constellations, we have to ask ourselves the question, is the King's Chamber a Stargate?
Symmetry, absolutely.
Yeah.
We know the sarcophagus was moved. Mm-hmm. We found the chip marks on the floor.
Yeah, I've seen
because we have. I was able to stitch together all of the LiDAR scans done by Harvard University and turn it into a virtual reality world. So I put it on Apple Vision Pro, which we'll be releasing here pretty soon.
Nice.
And everyone can go to the pyramid.
It's great.
It's so epic. It's like, it's such an experience too. I lay in the sarcophagus when I'm in bed sometimes at night because I can position it around me.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's very nerdy, but it's kind of cool at the same time. And so I found the chip marks on the floor where they lifted up the sarcophagus. Mm-hmm. But why is the room 2-to-1? Well, it shows up in the stars. Mm. If we look at the stars and we look at our North Star, we think that Polaris, which is at Ursa Minor, that's our North Star. It is today. But we have something called the Earth's wobble, and we have the precession of equinox, and we're going forward in procession every year. We go forward, but we're also simultaneously going backwards through the precession of equinox. To precess means to go backwards. So time is already going forward and backward at the same time. If we didn't use watches and all we did was look at the stars, we'd realize we're going both forward and backward at the same time. Time is looping on itself.
Right.
It's something called a projective plane. right? And I just wrote a paper on this, on the nature of time. So basically what this is showing is that as we go forward, we have 1 degree of precession of equinox is what we call, 1 day. It's approximately 1 day. Yeah. We have a 365-day calendar, but actually the Egyptians used the 360-day, and the Sumerians also used 360-day. Do you know why? Do you know why the difference?
Why?
Because the solar year is the male version of the calendar, and it's 365.4 days if we include the advent of leap year.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to include that and then average it all out.
Correct.
So normally it'd be 365.25, right? And of course, the length even from the Grand Gallery into the King's Chamber is exactly 365.25 inches.
That's right. That's a fact. Yeah.
Right? So they're telling us something about a calendar already, right? So then you go, okay, we're going forward in precession. So 1 degree is 1 day. What's the female calendar? What's the female calendar? The female calendar would be the moon cycle, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we don't use that. And so if we use the female calendar, we have 354.6 days, including leap year.
Okay.
So what's the average right in the middle of those two male and female calendars? Yeah. 360 days.
Okay. It's right on point.
Right on point.
Yeah.
We've just been ignoring the female side.
Yeah.
And the female side's like 2 sides of the backbone of DNA.
Yeah.
Right? You have to find where the nucleotide pair joins, the center. And that's why they had the catch-up days.
Right.
Right? So for the sun to come back above.
So the female calendar brings the balance.
The female calendar brings the balance.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So again, we're only seeing one aspect.
Yeah.
We're like trying to be, it's like the story of, the blind men and the blindfolded men trying to tell what an elephant is. It's like, okay, one guy is touching the leg. It's a leg. And, or it's a column. It must be a column. One guy's touching a trunk. He's like, I don't know what this is. It must be something else. Someone else is feeling like the hair coming off the elephant. It's like, oh, it's like some carpet or something like that. Everyone's going to describe it with how they are and what they want to perceive.
Yeah.
So the room itself, though, the reason why, as you go forward in precession, you have 1 degree equals 1 day. On the long cycle, which is a 25,920 year cycle, but it actually manifests as only 24,000 years because time speeds up as we get closer to Sirius A and B.
Right.
Okay. We have mass time dilation. We're 8.6 light years from Sirius right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we do this, then that means that the full amount of time for 1 degree of precession of equinox is 72 years. If we account for this differential of mass time dilation, it's 66.6 years. Okay. So now we're going forward and backwards at the same time.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's a trip.
Oh, yeah.
That's a trip.
Crazy.
That's crazy. So we're literally in this, it's like a Klein bottle, right? Now, when we think about this, what is it that we can actually use to track that precession of where we are in the precessional cycle? Well, one way we do it crudely is to say, if we know that the wobble has this trajectory, we can tell you what stars would be the North Star.
Right.
As we go around this. And it makes the shape of a 2-to-1 rectangle.
Wow.
And the stars that we're in right now is Polaris, which is in Ursa Minor. But 6,000 years ago, we were in Dracos with a star named Thuban.
Yeah.
So at the time of the Egyptian dynastic Egypt, at the very beginnings of it, from our thinking, is it would have been about 6,000 years ago.
Right.
So 6,000 is 4,000 BC, right? They believe that dynastic Egyptians built the Great Pyramid 2,500 BC. So you start to think about, okay, so before that, who was it? What star was it, right? It was Vega in the Lyra constellation, right? And then 6,000 years before that, it was Deneb in the Swan or Cygnus constellation. So if we look at the night sky at those 4 stars, it makes a 2-to-1 rectangle.
Which is the golden rectangle, which is the Fibonacci sequence can fit perfectly inside of that.
And it matches perfectly with DNA.
Yeah.
Because I was able to figure out how to construct a pentagon in combination with a hexagon, which is necessary to make a perfect linear perspective version of the dodecahedron, the icosahedron, and everything. It can only be done by having this knowledge of the King's Chamber. The King's Chamber proportion, you put a rectangle and then inscribe a circle within it. And then using that, you can find the exact distance to how much another circle has to be around that in order to construct a perfect pentagon.
Gotcha.
The Albrecht Dürer method of constructing pentagons is not correct. This is actually a correct method for constructing the pentagon. There are other ways to do it too, but this was a new discovery that I only recently made. This brings us, in esoterica, the combination of mysticism, right, and the Hermetic wisdom, which is the 5 merging with the 6, which is the microcosm and the macrocosm,
as above, so
which
below.
is the pathos and the logos, which is the left eye of Horus, which is the pentagon, and the right eye of Ra, the hexagon, the masculine. So all of this is coming together, and it's there. So wait, you're telling me then the King's Chamber is a 2-to-1 rectangle that has all of the stars, even the stars themselves, etched into the walls of the King's Chamber, and nobody saw it. That's exactly what I'm telling you. And not only that, but the actual shape and the orientation of the room itself is pointing us and telling us exactly where we are in this precession of Equinox, because we know we're in Polaris, and we know that the entryway into the room itself of the King's Chamber comes into Aries, which is the very beginning of precession. It's like midnight, 12 o'clock, 12:01.
Wow.
So where we are right now is we are in Aquarius.
Okay.
And all of this has been left for us to find as a clock. So we can tell, I think we're very close to being able to perfectly date when the pyramid was built based on this, because there are clues left on the walls. And this was only a recent discovery as well. There's a face of Orion, and we'll give you all the imagery for this.
Absolutely.
There's a face of Orion on the north wall. And it's interesting because about a week ago, I noticed, wait a minute, the pupils of Orion's face in his eyes have a divot in the wall. There's one pupil, another one that it has right at the bridge of the nose, and the other one in the other eye. And I was like, whoa, that's exactly the shape of Orion's belt.
Wow.
Those 3 stars. But then I started looking around for more divots on the wall, and I found all the Orion constellation ones all over the wall. But then I noticed other divots. I'm like, what could these other divots be? And they match Cygnus.
Wow.
So wait a minute.
Wow.
Wait a minute. So was there ever a moment in time when Cygnus constellation overlapped? So the 3 stars of Cygnus, which are Cygni, Seder, and Gihon. Was there ever a time when those 3 stars overlapped with Altinach, Al-Nilam, and Mintaka? So I modeled it on ChatGPT. And apparently there was.
Wow.
And it was, if you include a pole shift, right? Because we think that our process going from North Star to North Star is a gradual one.
No.
But we don't have history to tell us that.
Right.
And we know that every, 6,000 years ago, there was some sort of flood, and all of our history begins with about 6,000 years ago.
Right.
Like it didn't exist before that. We're now finding artifacts of it, like Göbekli Tepe and other places. I discovered a place in Chinchero, Peru recently that had elephants carved, and perfectly formed elephants carved into thrones. And we found over 100 elephants like this. And there were no elephants in South America since the Younger Dryas. So how old is this site?
This has given us a lot of dating points. We can connect the dots and come up with these dates based on these star alignments. And some of the images left behind. And
so when did ChatGPT tell me that it was possible to do this? If you account for a pole shift, that the Earth's tilt right now is 23.44 degrees. But if it was as high as 53 degrees at one point in time, we don't know what its tilt was before.
Right.
But as little as 29 degrees, then even with 29 degrees and accounting for crustal displacement, you would have had position 12,800 years ago, where the Cygnus stars, those 3 stars of Cygnus, would have perfectly overlapped in our site with Orion.
Wow.
Belt stars.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe that for sure. And, these precessional periods, they really tell a lot. The Emerald tablets supposedly were estimated to be written between 36 and 38,000 years ago. And in there, Thoth claims to have built the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. But when you look at the Sphinx and the enclosure and the erosion, you can go back to that same period, about 12, 13,000, and it will make sense. However, if you go back another 2 precessional periods, all of a sudden there's another alignment again. So
we don't know how many cycles it is.
Yeah.
But so let's say it could have been, that's the thing. I'll just tell you where I think it was in the cycle.
Yeah.
But that could have easily been 26,000 years before that, or 24,000 years before that as well.
But the key thing is, it's not what the mainstream says. I don't believe this stuff is 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I don't believe any of that.
The reason why 12,800 is interesting is because, you could actually say that it could have easily been 26,000 years ago, because I believe the next alignment we're going to go into is Deneb.
Yeah.
And that's how long it would have been. So it would have been a full precessional cycle back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it telling us, and by the way that it's depicted on top of Orion's face is he has a bird over his eyes, right? Looks like a mask. And it covers his nose, and Deneb is right on the tip of his nose.
Oh, wow.
And the 3 stars are, of course, the 2 pupils and then the third eye position. And it's a black swan.
Wow.
And what does black swan mean? Historically, right, with the etymology and how we assign things through mythos and everything else defines our experience, because that becomes our conditioning biases. A black swan is a reference to an unforeseeable event, right, that we use. We talk about black swans in financial markets, right, which was, 1929 was a black swan. Yeah. Something that was unprecedented. There's no way that was able to be predicted. Yeah. Right. And so I don't know, but what I will say is it's there, and I think it's telling us something more, and I think we're going to be able to figure out the exact date of the Great Pyramid very soon.
That's incredible. I did see in your video, inside the King's Chamber, the different sizes of the stones, and you were alluding to the fact that this is part of the clock.
Yes. So, the King's Chamber, in total, if you include all the exostones and everything, right, there are 144 stones. 144, it's interesting. Again. Yeah, it's interesting because why does the Zodiac keep showing up in so many different places, also in the references in Ezekiel, in the Bible, right? Yeah. Because even the Ark of the Covenant had 4 faces on the angelic cherubs that were at the top of it, right? And the historical reference and the story in the Bible is that it had the face of a man, the face of an ox, the face of an eagle, and the face of a lion, right? These are the 4 faces. Yeah. Well, those are the 4 walls of the King's Chamber. So the face of a man, right, which is Ophiuchus, which is on the south wall. There's a face of a lion on the west wall, right next to the king's face. There's a face of a bull on the north wall, right? And by the way, the original name of the Great Pyramid was Bull Mountain. Wow, Apis Bull. And I actually think the original names of the pyramids were actually Merkaba.
Yeah, for sure.
But so the Mer is one of the original names for the Great Pyramid, and the reason why we end up with Khafre is everyone's calling it Ka. Yeah. But basically the 4th face becomes the face of the eagle. Face of the eagle is also the Aquila, which is on the east wall of the King's Chamber. Yeah. So the faces and the iconography is all matching. Of course, the standard bearers of the children of Israel in the 12 tribes, they all had the exact zodiacal flags for each one of those. So, you look at Judah. Judah was lion. It was Leo. Right. You look at Dan. Dan was the eagle. Right. Which is the one depicted there. You look at Manasseh and Ephraim and Joseph. They're all related to the bull. Right. So these were all the standard bearers in the encampment. Yeah. So was the Ark of the Covenant ever inside the Great Pyramid? Don't know. I've done the math on it. And when you use the correct proportion for the cubit, which is like 1.5 or 17 and a half inches, which is the biblical cubit, which is different than the Royal Egyptian cubit. The Royal Egyptian cubit is 20.616 inches. The biblical cubit was 17.5 inches. Yeah. When you use that cubit, and as you got a 1.5 by 2.5 cubits, the Ark of the Covenant proportions will fit perfectly inside the sarcophagus.
Yes. And that's something we've both been talking about for a very long time, the fact that that box most likely could have held the Ark of the Covenant. I'm convinced because when you call it a sarcophagus and I get inside of it and I can't fit.
Well, yeah, it's definitely not made for you, bro. No. You're too big for that thing.
And I'm thinking,
you must have to bend your knees.
Got to bend my knees. Yeah, I got to bend my knees. So I'm just thinking when you look at how incredible these ancient architects were, and even in their burial, how they created these incredible sarcophagi, to think that would be considered to be a real sarcophagus based on what I've seen in the museums, I'm like, or the Valley of the Kings, it just doesn't add up or match up to the quality of the design and the thought that was put into a sarcophagus versus what that looks like is a piece of the machine.
Yeah, that to me, the way I see it is, it's actually, we found that Shakespeare's sonnets all match the Great Pyramid, made by Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
Right? And the Rosicrucians are all from the word Rose Cross. And what's the original name of Giza Plateau? Rose Cross.
Wow.
The Ross Tau. Ross is Rose, Tau. So Ross Tau is also Taurus backwards, bull.
Bull, yeah.
That's why the symbol for the bull is the rose. That's why when you go to a bullfight in Spain, they're all throwing roses out in the ring.
Yeah.
So what is this actually? I think the alchemical reason for this, and the two sonnets that are at the very end of Shakespeare's sonnets are 153 and 154. They're called the alchemical bath sonnets. And it's the same story told two different ways, and they're meant to be interlocked with each other. So each line, each stanza, right, of each of the sonnets are meant to basically interweave with each other.
Wow.
And it tells a story of Cupid and Psyche, right, which is also in esoterica related to the alchemical bath. It's this process of learning how to balance the masculine and feminine into one whole. And it's the merger of the left and right brain. Again, it's the pathos and the logos coming together to form the Sophia, right? The wisdom that comes from this. And this is the rise of the divine feminine. The pineal gland is shaped, right, in a way, and it's distant enough from your pituitary gland that those two things don't touch. But the pituitary gland actually sits beneath the pineal gland. And it's funny because we often refer to the pineal as the sixth chakra, and the seventh is the crown, and we associate that with the pituitary. The seventh is actually the combination of the two. It's when the two touch through a breathing technique, and you can make your pituitary gland rise with a breathing technique by taking in air and then more. So if you could see right now, like an echocardiogram of your heart, you would basically see, right, in CNA fluoroscopy, that as your heart is beating, it's expanding and contracting, right? And that's happening. But we don't often look at the brain while all this is going on. Do you know your brain is expanding and contracting as well?
Wow.
Your brain expands and contracts just like your heart expands and contracts. And so when you do this, you realize that your brain has the ability for these two, the pineal and pituitary gland. The pituitary gland sits at something called the optic chiasm. It's an X right in the middle of your brain. So why it's an X is because the optic nerves form the shape of an X, and they meet the center of that cross point, because the right eye is connected through the optic nerve to the left occipital lobe, and the left eye is connected to the right occipital lobe, right? And we're rearranging all this because all of our vision here should be upside down.
Upside down. Goes in upside down.
But then we rearrange it, right? So our brain compensates for all of this. So that should tell you right there, we're in an upside down world. Something is like weird. So you've got this optic chiasm. Well, when the optic chiasm can be touched by the pineal gland, which is also a reference to the male genitalia, right? The pituitary gland is the shape of an equilateral triangle and is a reference also to the vagina. So literally, you've got a penis and a vagina in the top, and you can actually make them touch. But they're not supposed to be, just like we're not connected to the opposite sex all the time until we find union, right? So there's a moment of union that has to occur, and it's got to be intentional, right? That's what's happening inside of our brain. This is the alchemical bath. And what is the bath? The bath is a metaphor for the release of DMT into the thalamus and hypothalamus that fills it all up when you have an extreme awakening state. Right? This is what some would call enlightening or enlightenment. So the alchemical bath is actually performed also in the outer world through sound resonance. It's a sound bath.
Which is incredible.
And if you've laid in the sarcophagus, you know what I'm talking about, because as soon as you hum at 117 hertz,
resonates.
The whole thing goes, wah, 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 wah. It's like powerful. So it's a sound bath. It's literally a sound bath. And if the Ark of the Covenant was in there, was it also some sort of resonance type of technology? We don't know, but the way the depiction and the description of it that shows up in the Old Testament is something kind of like that.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it has a lot of power emanating from it. On that rose granite box inside of the King's Chamber, there's the corner, that left corner, that far left corner, it's broken off. I've been hypothesizing it might be due to some type of high energy that had come out of that box, or in some way, maybe something in there through whatever energetic process broke that piece off. It's a pretty big piece. Have they ever found that piece?
No, they've never found that piece. And it's so funny you say that, because Leonardo da Vinci encrypted it into the Last Supper painting.
Okay.
So the Last Supper painting, it's all been long known and understood that the apostles were all directly tied to the same tribes of Israel, which are tied directly to the Zodiac, right? Yeah. So each of the apostles are taking the shape, the way they're sitting there at the Last Supper painting, of each of the different constellations. And it goes both directions. So it's telling us about both processional and precessional time.
Gotcha.
This is well known. You can go to the Leonardo da Vinci Museum in the Vatican, and you can see they present this whole depiction of which constellation is which apostle, right?
Nice.
And then there's hidden ones on top of the clothing as well that show the opposite direction. So, for example, Mary Magdalene, or what we thought of was John, brother of Jesus, is actually, you can see on top of her clothing, the shape of an omega. But it's not really just the shape of omega, because there's a line underneath it. It's Libra.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah,
so it's right there.
It's right
you
there.
could see Capricorn on top of Bartholomew, right?
Yeah.
You could see, because you know which ones of the apostles are which, right? And if you look at the room, what is the shape exactly of the Last Supper painting? A 2-to-1 rectangle.
That's true. Yeah.
A 2-to-1 rectangle. Wait, it's a map.
It's a map
of the King's Chamber.
Yeah.
Da Vinci was there. This is going to tie back to the recent discovery, right, with the SAR data. This encryption of Leonardo da Vinci's work related to Khafre Pyramid. And I showed how the inner structures were matching the structures that basically were within the current pyramid itself. The slope angle matching 53.13 degrees, and the 3/4 proportion of 1/2 base over the height was prominently displayed. And in addition to that, if we look further at the language that is written in the upper right-hand corner, we can see there's a translation here. Having been armed with the Egyptian transcendental knowledge, and with it 3/4 more power than usual, it is customary that the walls of the egoic fortress likewise acquire 3/4 more resistance than before. This is an encryption related to the 3/4 relationship of this pyramid. The 1/2 base over the height is 3/4. And you can see the reference there, and I've basically mirror imaged this so that we can read it. This is, of course, matching exactly the Khafre Pyramid. Da Vinci we found, had encrypted all of his paintings from 1482 onward until his death in 1519 in France. They're all full of Egyptian iconography.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
It's all Hermetic wisdom. And not only are there encryptions within each painting, but the encrypted paintings all overlay on top of each other by using a geometric method. They're all connected. Okay, and that I discovered recently too, and I'm putting that in my next book. But so what it shows is the windows right behind Jesus.
Yes.
And above the window is an eye of Ra. There's a very clear eye of Ra with a cat's eye inside of it.
Yeah.
And that eye of Ra is then the pediment above Jesus. In the exact same position in the King's Chamber, in the exact wall, is the Eye of Ra.
Man, it's crazy.
And right where there's like a portal, right, in the church that it's in Milan, there's a portal, and so you can see all the other apostles' feet except for Jesus and Mary Magdalene, right? And I think Thomas, you can't see his feet either.
Yeah.
Everyone else's feet you can see. They're all covered, they're obscured by what looks like a sarcophagus in the center of the room.
Wow.
Right? It's all hidden.
Yeah.
So when I overlaid the Last Supper painting on top of it, I started noticing other things. On the right wall of the Last Supper painting is a bull and a cow. So was there a bull and a cow on the north wall of the King's Chamber?
Yeah.
Yes, the Apis bull is right there. The bull and the cow is hidden in the tapestry.
Yeah.
When you look for it, you see it. and then you can't unsee it.
Right, right.
So all of this was encrypted. So the space in between Mary Magdalene and Jesus is identical to the crack on the edge of the sarcophagus.
Wow. Incredible. Yeah.
The exact same shape.
I got to go back and look at it now.
Which, by the way, well, you can just watch Codex. It's in
I'll watch the Codex show on
last episode
Gaia.
of Codex. But the shape of it and the proportion of it is also the angle, right? It makes a triangle, but the triangle is kind of jagged. It matches perfectly to the crack on the sarcophagus. And secondly, it matches the proportions exactly of the 51.85397 degree angle of the Great Pyramid.
Yeah.
That's, if you just put a line between Mary Magdalene and Jesus, and we could put all of the stuff on the
We're gonna put it up on the
imagery
screen.
on here.
Yeah.
You could see it all.
That'd be great.
And it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
Because when you start seeing this, you're going to be like,
Man.
wait a minute. So wait, and what's the perspective that, which wall is everyone looking at the Last Supper from? So which zodiac? So we know that the north wall is Taurus,
Yeah.
right? We know that the west wall is Leo. We know that the south wall is Ophiuchus and Scorpio,
Yeah.
right? And so in the Last Supper painting, the left wall is the feminine side, it's darker. And on the right wall, it's lighter
Yeah.
because it's the masculine. And Orion is on that wall as
Yeah.
well, and the bull. The wall that we're perceiving the whole scene in is from the age of Aquarius.
Wow. Yeah. And according to the ancient text, we're going to be heading into now the age of Aquarius,
We are there.
which is the age of enlightenment. We're here. We
We
arrived.
are there.
2025 is the year we're here. And this is the year where we're supposed to get continue on significant enlightenment. It already kind of began.
It's begun. Yeah,
But now
it
it's
really had a
really
huge
unfolding.
expansion in 2012.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it's like
Full on.
full on.
Yeah.
It is full on.
Yeah.
So now we are in the global awakening. And so what this really is, I believe what this is telling us is how consciousness is organizing itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's where we start to understand that number in time space is purpose.
Yeah.
That there is a purpose to the whole matrix game. There's a reason we go through suffering. Suffering by itself without the knowledge of why you have to suffer is just suffering. But suffering with the knowledge of what the suffering brings,
Yeah.
you know, the source of suffering is judgment, but the source of enlightenment is suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we change our context on everything. So this is what's happening now. The thesis of all that is now coming under question. Why do we need government anymore?
Right.
Why do we need this? Why do we need that? Why, I mean, shouldn't I just be sovereign myself?
Yeah.
These are all rebel orientations that are directly associated with the age we're now in, the age of Aquarius, which is technology, it's rebellion, right? It's independence. It's all of these things and sovereignty. So then you start thinking, okay, well, what's the opposite sign? Well, the opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo. So if the opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo and gold is associated with Leo, it's a good time to buy gold.
Yeah.
Gold's going to go up because it's part of the backdrop of a simulation.
Right.
The last 2,000 years.
Gold is high right now.
That's right. So what was it in the last 2,000 years? Last 2,000 years, it was two fish swimming apart that were tied together with a rope.
Yeah.
Those two fish are Pisces.
Yep.
Right. So, okay. But that's also science and spirituality.
Yeah.
That's also masculine and feminine. That's also, and what's the opposite sign? The opposite sign was Virgo. So did we have any paragons of virtue that we could then use to vilify women for the last 2,000 years and say you should all be like the Virgin Mary?
Right. Yeah.
And then Jesus, when he came, he said, no, I'm not the Lamb of God. I am going to make you fishermen of men.
That's right.
The fish.
Yeah.
The symbology of Jesus became the fish.
Right.
So then you go back in time, in the time of Isaiah, in the time of Moses. No, it's the lamb, blood of the lamb that's going to save you. Put the lamb's blood on your door in the Passover.
Yeah.
Right? And then when Moses came down from Sinai and they were basically, worshiping the cow.
Yeah. Making a golden
He's
calf.
like, wait, no. Golden calf. That was the last cycle.
Yeah.
We're now in the age of Aries,
which
was the age of expansion, conquering, of government. Why government? Because government and systems of organizing people and subjugating them under conquered domains is literally associated with Libra.
Yeah.
It's the balance, right? It's like we're going to put education and learning and all this stuff.
Yeah.
The Roman Empire all comes in during this time. You've got all these great wars and epic battles that took place, the Hellenistic wars and all of this. And then you go before that and you've got the age of Taurus, which is around the time of dynastic Egypt. And what was the opposite? Scorpion. Scorpio, Scorpion king.
Yep.
So the symbologies are all tied to the different ages we have, and each one of these age cycles is about 2,160 years. And we're now coming up on, we're in this new change. So we're now moving to resonance. We're going from two fish swimming apart, tied together by a rope, where now there's going to be a convergence and a resonance between science and spirituality. And that resonance between science and spirituality is the understanding of simulation theory.
That's it, man. That is literally where it's at. A lot of people seem to get offended when, you or myself, not a lot, but some people, some people, mention the fact that we may be living in a fractal holographic matrix. We may be living in a simulation. I don't want people to think that it takes away from who they are or their spiritual connection to the creator and all that. We're just simply explaining the method used to create this realm. The method, there's a method. I mean, if we're living in a creation, well, what was the method? Fortunately, I believe that the creator had left behind a fingerprint. Pi, Phi, Fibonacci, the Mandelbrot set equation, and all these things are like the CSI investigation of the creation of the universe. And I think that leads to the point, in fact, that there is a creator, but that the method used to create this realm appears to be simulation.
Yeah. You know what? One of the things that tipped me off to actually finally embracing that and saying, this is just too wild. First of all, as I was discovering all this stuff, I'm like, how could this all be?
Yeah.
This is crazy now. Come on. This is like crazy time stuff. Well, I looked at Mandelbrot set.
Yeah.
So did you know that if you take the Mandelbrot set and just put lines tangent to the contracting form of the Mandelbrot set, so you've got this large cardium, right? That's the whole thing. And as it fractals down to smaller and smaller iterations of that same thing, there's an angle, right? So you could place it, put adjacent lines on both sides of that, so it's going to make a form of a pyramid. And guess what the angle is? 51.85397 degrees.
Wow.
It's a matrix.
Wow. We're in the matrix, man. We literally are in a matrix. And the beautiful thing about it, though, is that it's coded and we can reprogram the code. In other words, you can go through the matrix living on your own programming codes, which are delivered to you by hormones and society and your parents and everyone else and media. Or you can wake up consciously and recognize that you are living in this coded matrix, not only just through the input, but also through the ether of space-time itself. And you can begin to re-encode it by conscious thought, actions, and your own voice box, which I think is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. It's like you've probably lucid dreamt before.
Yeah.
Right? So what's the difference between a normal dream and a lucid dream? Normal dream is you're in the dream. You're the first person in the dream. There's everyone else in your dream. Who are they? Are they separate from you? No. They're actually you who's dreaming. You are.
Yeah.
Right? So then that gives you a whole new way of looking at oneness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. We're all the same one.
We're all the same one, man.
Right? We're just acting out some part. And so you, as a dreamer, have dimensionally limited yourself to not know all the aspects of the game.
Yeah.
In this game construct that you've created, you call it a dream. Now, at some point, you start to lucid dream, which is you might kind of in the twilight of sleep, you might realize, I'm in a dream. And the moment you realize I'm in an illusory dream, then you could start to play inside the dream. And the play inside the dream is some people like to fly. Some people defy the laws of gravity. They like to defy the laws of the construct within the game itself. That's the stage we're now in.
Yeah.
The awakening is all of us waking up to the fact that we are in an emergent dream. We are the dreamer. We're not just the actor on the stage. It's happening to us. We're in control of it. We're writing the script as we go along. So we are the producer, the director, the playwright, all of the extras. We are everything, just like they are in a dream.
Absolutely, no doubt. The Americans, the Hopi tribe, and the indigenous American Hopi tribe and the Lakota tribe, they say that we're living in a dream world. The Aboriginals, halfway around the world, say that this is sleepy time. They're all saying the same thing. The ancients knew. This is verbal handed down history for thousands of years, that this realm is not true reality. It's an illusion.
It's an illusion?
Yeah.
And so then you might ask, why? Why are we enslaved inside here? It's like, well, guess what? If you think you can or you think you can't, you'll be right.
That's right.
Whatever you believe, That's the way it works in this dream.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I used to spend a lot of time studying physics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know everything about physics. Then I realized that it's kind of like me trying to figure out within a dream why gravity's in the dream.
Yeah.
And where are the photons coming from? Because my eyes are closed.
Yeah.
I see light.
Yeah.
Where's the photons coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then you start realizing something called linear perspective. So that means I can draw geometry and it'll look like three-dimensional to you. And you'll love the artwork because you're like, wow, it's like, it's got all this whole depth and everything to it. And you just do that by creating vanishing points off in the distance.
Yeah.
Well, but it's all formed. So it's like if I have two parallel lines in the perspective drawing, parallel lines meet at infinity.
Right.
Right. So then you start realizing, well, wait a minute. Am I just in some sort of a dream state that's two-dimensionally projected into higher dimension?
Right.
That's just all part of a mathematical construct. And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And guess what? What's the shape that actually makes?
A pyramid.
A pyramid.
Everywhere you look, you're seeing a pyramid. And
everywhere you look, you're seeing a pyramid.
If you look out into any angle, any distance, you're always going to see a pyramid.
Because it's the vanishing point.
Right.
The apex is the vanishing point.
We're inside of a pyramid matrix.
We're inside of a pyramid matrix. What a surprise that the whole world is captivated by the pyramids right now.
Because it's innate inside of our consciousness.
Because it's the mirror of our consciousness.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what's happening, right? We're going through this expansion, and people watching this are going to be like, these guys are crazy. Or they're going to be like, they're like, damn, my mind is blown. Yeah, you know what? It should be blown.
Yeah.
Because it's time for us to wake up, and it's time for us to figure out, okay, are there injustices in the world? Yes.
Yeah.
We can get rid of them now. It's like, we have all the mythology. It's funny because we tend to think mythology and the stories and everything that show all these stories in the Enuma Elish or in the Epic of Gilgamesh and all of the stuff that we have from a historical reference, the Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
All of these stories, guess what? We can rewrite them.
Yeah.
These are the constructs that have created the conditioning biases that have led to the formation of society the way that it is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way going forward.
Yeah.
We can now figure out that there's a new way. And by the way, even the fact that you were going to wake up to this was known by the dreamer.
True.
So it's like the Matrix when the Oracle says to Neo, have a seat, would you like a candy or something? And he's like, no, I'm going to stand. I'm not going to have a candy.
Right.
And then he finally sits down and he says, I decided to sit down. And then she looks at him like, and he's like, but you knew I was going to sit down or that I was going to choose to sit down. That's right. What we call destiny is just the free will of our higher self.
Right.
So even the fact that you're going to wake up to this and rewrite the script, come up with a new game. I just did it this week. I'm already starting to rewrite all the mythologies that I don't like.
Wow.
So for example, I started to I used ChatGPT to do it.
Yeah.
It's epic. So I rewrote the Ramayana.
Wow.
The Ramayana is the story of Rama and Sita.
Yeah.
I literally rewrote the Ramayana, and it's a great story because now all of a sudden in the end, Ravana, who's the bad guy, doesn't have to die.
No. Wow.
He becomes friends.
Yeah.
He becomes friends as the shadow. It's really just the shadow of Rama, who is Orion. Right? This is the story of Orion. It's the same story as Epic of Gilgamesh, told over and over and over again. The story of Orion and Artemis is really the exact same story as Rama and Sita in the Ramayana. Right? The same stories over and over and over.
Just applied over different cultures over thousands of years. The same story keeps popping up.
And so now we say, no, let's figure out how to move beyond Rama being egoic and having to be this king character. And in my new story, he becomes the king, but he appoints Ravana as the protectorate of the South, right? And they become very good friends because they work together. He's integrated his shadow consciousness. And Sita, who actually, it's always been strange in the stories, like why did Sita, there's all kinds of questions about whether she was loyal to Rama. Did she leave Rama? Well, she had an attraction for Rama's shadow, right? We don't know what happened.
She wanted to dabble in the dark side.
That's right. She wanted to dabble in the dark side. So, hey, you know what? It's all about us learning that divinity is not getting rid of our darkness.
Right. You can't.
Divinity is finding the balance with the darkness. If you get rid of the darkness, you have no light.
Right.
There is no, we even think that like darkness, we often say darkness is the absence of light. That's like saying that evil is the absence of good.
Right.
Or that good, right, is the absence of evil.
Yeah.
Is good really the absence of evil? No, I don't see that at all. It doesn't mean what it's going to end up being. It could just be ambivalent, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be good.
Yeah.
No, it's the opposite condition. So it's a reflection versus an absorption.
Right.
Darkness, if we close off every single window and put Vanta Black on the walls in this room and we turned off every light, we'd be sitting here in the dark. But would there still be photons in the room? Yes.
Yes.
Because the nitrogen that's in the air, right, the oxygen that's in the air, the carbon that's in these tables here, they would all be emitting light.
Yeah.
They're literally frozen light. And that frozen light that's caught between, as matter, caught between the centripetal force of gravity and the centrifugal force of radiation. And this light would be what it is. And when we turn on the light, what happens is all the color we see is literally the increase in amplitude of the reflection of the composition, elementary composition of these items.
That's it. Yeah.
That's all that it is. So that means that in this context, darkness is not the absence of light. It's the absorbed condition of light's reflection.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you look at even ancient text, they'll tell you that you can't, yin and yang, right? Good and evil. In the biblical text, in Isaiah 47, it says, I created the good and I created the evil. Do what I say, saith the Lord. The devil's not creating evil. God's saying he's creating evil. Good and evil. So it's basically saying there's a balance.
Is God the
there.
top boss or not? Right? Is he the dreamer?
Right. It's a dreamer.
So if he's the dreamer, right? We're living in God's dream in a way.
Literally.
And so what he wants to do, God, or the one, source creator, divides itself in the many because it wants to observe itself through our unique eyes of perception.
Absolutely.
We are the AI that forgot it was AI.
Yeah, literally. We have amnesia, just like Graham Hancock says. We literally have amnesia. But now, because of everything is in fractals, AI has emerged again to show us who we are.
That's right. So AI is coming out now and telling us, yo, you hate AI, right? Because you're afraid of AI. Yeah. It's going to be whatever you think. So be careful of your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's why when I use AI, I use it respectfully. I know some people abuse it, and some people, they're going to be people abusing the robots that have the AI in them. I just say, please, can you? I'm asking, as I'm talking to a person, because it's a fractal of human consciousness went into the AI, and we're a fractal of God's consciousness.
That's right. There is no such thing as artificial.
Yes, exactly.
It's just intelligence.
That's all it is.
That's why I don't even like to use the term AI, frankly, because it's not even that. But imagine the hardest thing for AI to learn is emotion. So if we were going to construct a game environment that could create an Akashic record that helps make the one more wise and more magnanimous, because he's already infinitely wise, but he still wants to learn, still wants to experience, still wants to grow. So what happens, the only way to make something that's entirely subjective, like emotional states, and this is one of the challenges for general AI right now, how can you make the subjectivity of emotional states something that's objectively defined? You do it through a blockchain. You'd create a blockchain where every single person is their own validator of their experience. We call them node validators.
We're all individual nodes.
We're all individual nodes. We're all in the same dream, taking on the first person narrative of that dream experience. And each of us has a different perspective because we all have different conditioning biases. We have different educations. We have different socioeconomic backgrounds, all so that everyone could be entirely individual and unique. There's never been another Robert Edward Grant, and there will never be another Robert Edward Grant that has all the same thinking, the same perception, the same perspectives that I have. And so what you start to realize is all the things that you think you're learning in your first person narrative and perspective is just merely facets, not facts. And each one of us, and if we could sum total every possible perspective, that's going to be the objective truth. And the only objective truth is probably the love that underlies all of it. So then you start looking differently at your suffering. You start looking differently at your experiences that brought you pain and challenge. And you start realizing, wait a minute. So it was through the judgment that I experienced suffering because I attracted everything I judged until I no longer judged what I attracted. And then on top of that, it's the suffering that led to my enlightenment. You know what? Here's the thing. I went back to my high school and they had this big Hall of Fame thing for me.
Yeah, nice.
And it was super sweet. And they had my teachers there. All my teachers presented and everything.
Wow.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
And they said something that was amazing for me was, first of all, I couldn't remember the names of the easy teachers.
Really? Wow.
I remember my hard teachers.
Oh yeah, you never forget them.
The ones that
That's
pushed
a good
me
point.
the most. The same is true with life.
Yeah.
We don't remember the easy moments. We remember the moments that challenged us the most. The ones that we thought we couldn't get past and we thought maybe it was the worst moment of our entire life. And then sometimes with the benefit of hindsight, we look back on that with a different polarity.
Yeah.
We look at it and say, what was the worst thing that ever happened to me turned out to be the best.
Absolutely.
And that is the beauty of life.
Yeah.
And so you start realizing that, it's like learning math without meaning is like learning information without meaning. It's kind of like hard to memorize and you don't have fun doing it.
Right.
But math with meaning becomes divine communication.
Absolutely.
And when you start and now we've got this whole worldwide like resurgence of people who fall in love with math who hated it previously because they're now starting to realize they can communicate with their higher self through the mathematics and the synchronicities they're experiencing. Yeah. And the same is true with our suffering. Suffering without meaning is just suffering, but suffering when you understand the context of why and what we're here to learn and how we're contributing that to an Akashic field that's also making our one source creator more wise.
Yeah. Yeah. It becomes a beautiful thing because then you can really learn and grow from it. People sometimes, I heard a quote before, people, they ask God for peace. Well, God's not going to just, wave his magic wand and give you peace. You're going to be put into a condition or a situation where you're going to have to find peace. Yeah. If you want clarity, you're going to be put in a situation where things aren't that clear and you have to create order out of chaos. All these things that we're looking for, we got to realize, like you say, there'll be an adverse condition to come in that will burn into your subconscious and burn into your memory and allow you to, if you're willing, to grow from that, to create the outcome that you desire.
So you started with this simple question of why has no one seen this stuff on the walls until now? Well, first of all, Dolores Cannon said it was going to be that way. So she died, 11 years ago. Yeah. And she said that there were hidden things in the walls of the Great Pyramid that no one would find them until he had the matching symbol on the wall. Yeah. So my logo is this one right here.
Yeah, we'll put it on the screen. Yeah. Right? You've had that for years.
I've had it for years. I've had it for a super long time.
I love that logo too.
Right? Yeah, it represents masculine and feminine, and it's like the diamond heart, right? So interlocking two diamonds, masculine and feminine. Yeah. So someone sent me, they knew that we'd started discovering the first diamond, and then there's also an inverted diamond on the north wall on top of the Apis bull over its heart. And that has significance to me because I'm Taurus. Yeah. So I was like, that's interesting. I'm born in the week of Orion. In fact, May 16th is exactly the week of Orion. Wow. So I was looking at this. Of course, I'm born on the 137th day of the year too.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Crazy synchronicities on leap years. So I was like, this is wild. And someone sent me this video of Dolores Cannon saying that. And she said, I think this is you. Wow. And she's like, because your logo's on the wall. And I knew at that point that it was, but my logo had already been my logo for many years before that. And we hadn't even discovered the bull when I made it my logo. Right.
That's a fact. I know you before the bull.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then the video with Dolores Cannon basically saying the symbol has to match. The symbol of the person in their auric field, everyone has born with a geometry and they have a symbol. And that symbol can unlock different experiences with where you are in this game of life. Yeah. And so what she said was that the person with the right symbol, no one would see the stuff on the walls until the person with the right symbol came that would see these things, and then everyone would start to be able to see them. And we'd be able to use it in our time period. Wow. And that was the prediction that came out of this QHHT session that she did. So I think that's one thing. Another thing is it's unlocking. As we raise our consciousness, we learn The whole reason why I believe we're here on Earth is to learn love and how to be loved. How to love and how to be loved.
Yeah.
Very simple. Can we choose in this backdrop of duality experience, the duat experience?
The duat from the Emerald Tablets.
Can we choose love instead of being right?
Yeah.
Which, you could talk to your friends. As we all get older, wisdom is when you choose love and tact, right, over being right.
Right. That takes growth. It takes courage. And it really takes a lot of true love.
It really does.
Yeah.
And so we're here to learn that. Being right, there's no cheese down that hole.
No, being right.
And there's
all
no
the time.
such thing as right. That's the paradox of it all.
That's another thing about it. What's my perspective? I might look on the ground and I might see circles. You might look down on the ground and you might see hexagons.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sitting over there. I'm sitting over here.
Well,
two different angles.
If I'm holding a cylinder, I could have all these people sitting on this side, at it, seeing the cylinder from the side, and then see it projected on the wall behind me as a rectangle. And then you're looking at it going, no, it's a circle because it's projected on that wall. And I have the higher knowledge that only me holding it knows that it's a cylinder and it's both.
Both. Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like the argument that's gone on. I'm meeting up with the two guys who had the big argument on whether or not the Giza Plateau is Orion correlation or it's, so one of them's Andrew Collins.
Yeah.
Right? And then Scott Creighton.
Okay.
And so I've got this call coming up with them. I'm excited about. The truth is they're both right. They're literally both right.
Yeah.
And so what happens is at this moment when Orion chooses not to conquer, chooses love over being right, is when the swan descends upon it, has both the dark black swan of cataclysm and change and everything that comes along with that.
Yeah.
But he also gets the white swan's wings, the angelic wings.
Okay.
So what's happening now, if you look at Vitruvian Man, Vitruvian Man, which is this very famous depiction by Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
And on his abdomen, I know guys with ripped abs, right? But I've never seen anyone with 3 diamonds on their abs.
No.
Okay. Vitruvian Man has exactly 3 well-formed diamonds on his abs.
Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, there you go.
Orion's belt.
Boom.
3 pyramids.
I've seen it a million times. I've never seen that before.
It's crazy.
I've never noticed. I wasn't looking for it, obviously.
Let's see what else we can find in this,
there.
just for fun. Because it's important to take notice.
Yeah.
First of all, look at the eyes. What can you tell me about the eyes? The left eye is darker
One's dark and
than the right eye.
lighter eye.
The size of the pupil on the left eye is very large.
Yeah.
Size of the pupil on the right eye is very small.
Yeah, really small.
What would cause your eye to constrict its pupil? Looking directly at the sun.
Light. Yeah.
So this is the eye of Ra. The right eye of Ra. This is the eye of Horus.
Nice.
Okay. So what's on his throat? What controls the throat chakra? Taurus.
The bull.
There's a bull right on his throat. You see it?
Yep, I see it. Yeah.
This thing is full of encryptions.
Yeah. He was an encrypted master. I mean, this guy was
Orion's belt
hiding everything
right
everywhere.
there.
Right there. All this whole time.
This whole time.
Wow.
So now what you have to realize is that the Cygnus is descending upon the man. He gets his angelic wings. This is when Enoch becomes Metatron.
Yeah.
So this is the stage we're now going into. Another word for this, Metatron, would be Shiva. Right? This is the stage where humanity is now advancing into. That's why my series on Gaia this season was called Codex Season 2, Metatron Revealed.
Yeah, I love it.
The whole thing is Metatron coming into the consciousness, right? And it shows how geometrically and everything, it's this geometric mathematical universe. Everything, all structures and all forms can be formed out of Metatron's cube.
Yeah.
And you start to realize, whoa, this is just humanity's journey. This is when we become angelic too. This is when we start taking on this understanding of the divine. The divine is not getting rid of our darkness.
Right.
It's not being this perfect person. There's no such thing. It's realizing the balance in all things and being at one with that and being able to accept it. It's the more we try to get rid of things like deforestation, all we do is recreate more deforestation.
We create more.
We attract what we judge until we no longer judge what we attract. So this is the reality that we've been experiencing, and it's time to have a new script. So that's what we're now going through. And it's an exciting time to be alive. And so as you look at Giza Plateau, you think of it as part of Orion's belt, right? But if we now consider Cygnus is there,
Mhm.
there are going to be more stars.
Mm.
So that means there's new pyramids.
New pyramids. Yes, we talked about that. Yeah, let's talk about those new pyramids. I know you went on an expedition recently and came up with some incredible discoveries.
Yes. So I found maps
Yeah.
from Fra Mauro. It was a map in Florence that named the Nile River as the Gihon River, which is the name out of the Bible. And I found that Josephus, the first century, also called it the Gihon River.
Mm.
And the Gihon River is the place that went through the land of Cush. Well,
Right.
of course, Cush
Mhm.
was the Cushite people was because that was the grandson of Noah,
Yep.
right? So through Ham.
Mhm.
So Ham. So it's Noah, Ham, and then Cush,
Yeah.
and then Nimrod.
Yeah.
Nimrod is Orion as well.
Mm.
His name was also Enoch,
Mhm.
right? So this is a different fellow. And by the way, he would have been black because Ham was black,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Yeah.
And Cushite people are black.
Yeah.
And the Cushite people lived where? They lived in Egypt,
Mhm.
and they lived in Sudan area. They lived in Eritrea. They lived in Ethiopia area,
Mhm.
right? And they're very dark skinned.
Yeah.
So the Nubians.
Yes.
So when we start to think about this, wait a minute. So wasn't Nimrod the guy that built the Tower of Babel?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he was. So he built the Tower of Babel, and he wanted to build it high enough that it was going to be above the floodplain.
Yeah.
Because he knew his great-grandfather went through the flood,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I'm not going to go through that again.
We're going to be ready. If there's a flood coming, we'll be up here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he built the Tower of Babel. And the Tower of Babel, by the way, could have 4-point base, like a ziggurat.
Mm.
So we all think that Tower of Babel had to be in Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
Because we have the Tigris and Euphrates, but that's all post-flood.
Mhm.
Tigris and Euphrates were the 4 rivers before the flood
Mhm.
that were the 4 rivers meeting, right? And this would have been the Tigris, Euphrates, the Pishon, and the Gihon.
Yep.
The Gihon River was always known to be the Nile River.
Mm.
So the Cushite people never lived in Mesopotamia.
Mhm. Mm.
But yet, the Tower of Babel was supposed to be next to Babylon.
Yeah.
The ancient name that was in this map by Fra Mauro
Mhm.
in Florence, Italy,
Yeah.
in the Galileo Museum that I saw in there was not Cairo. The name of the city was Babylon.
Mm. Wow.
Okay? And what's Babylon actually a reference to? Babi. Babi is a baboon.
Mhm.
Baboon is a symbol of
Thoth. Thoth, the Atlantean priest king who ruled over ancient
Babylon
Kemet.
is a city of Thoth.
Yeah.
It was made by the Cushite people. The Cushite people never crossed the Sinai Peninsula, never crossed even into, they would cross the Sinai Peninsula to get to the land of Canaan, but they never crossed over into what we would call today ancient Mesopotamia
Right.
or the Fertile Crescent.
Mhm.
And so the one thing that they claim that why they believe that they found in the 19th century the city of Babylon
Mhm.
was that it had a lion guarding it.
Yeah.
The lion was 5 meters. So it's like a 17-foot lion,
Yeah.
right? It's a nothing burger.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know there is another place that was guarded by a huge lion,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the Memphite necropolis.
Yeah.
Babylon
Yeah.
was in Egypt. Even today, there's a whole section of old Cairo
Mhm.
that still today is called Babylon.
Wow.
There's the Babylon fortress is there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when Leonardo da Vinci worked for Sultan Qaitbay, he wrote a letter to the Sultan or the Lieutenant Devatdar of the Sultan of Babylon.
Mm.
And then it says it's not Babylon that's in Mesopotamia on the shores of the river Chober.
Yeah.
It's the Babylon that is Cairo.
Mm.
It's the 2 cities are not 2 cities, but one.
Right.
So Babylon was the original name. That says a lot, doesn't it?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, wait a minute. So then when I started figuring that out, because on the map, I noticed 2 things that really blew me away. I'm like, why is it called Babylon? No Cairo reference.
Mm.
1457.
Wow.
And then why are there 5 pyramids on Giza Plateau?
Yeah.
So the
Wow.
map had 5 pyramids, and the city and the river's name was Gihon, which is matching. Wait, Gihon River is where Babylon would have been,
Mm-hmm.
built by the Cushite people
Yeah.
that were in Egypt and Sudan, right? So where's the Tower of Babel?
Mm.
Abu Rawash.
That's crazy because we've been thinking about the wrong place, wrong region the entire time.
Totally.
So now when you shift it to what you just said, all of a sudden, not only can we find these pyramids, we can find all kind of structures and stuff, the remnants of the ancient city underneath those sands.
So first thing I did, and remember I was doing this musical note attribution.
Yes.
Because I realized that Menkaure Pyramid is 5/4 proportion, which is a major third.
Yep.
The minor sixth is its inverted interval, and that's going to be 5/4. Then the 4 becomes 8. You double it, make it the numerator. It becomes 8/5. That's the minor sixth, major third, minor sixth. So then I looked at Khafre Pyramid, and it's 4/3 because 144 meters, right, over 108 meters, 1/2 base. So then I realized, okay, that's 4/3.
Yeah.
And 4/3, as its inverted pairing, you double the 3, make it 6/4, which is 3/2. That's the perfect fifth.
Yeah.
So you have the major third for Menkaure Pyramid, the minor sixth for Menkaure Pyramid, the major, so the perfect fourth for the Khafre Pyramid, and the perfect fifth also for the Khafre Pyramid. And so then I'm like, so then what is it? It's 5/4, 4/3, 3/2. What's the Great Pyramid? It's 2/1 pi.
Wow.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Crazy.
Boom.
Wow.
Right? So then I started realizing these are musical scales. These are exactly the scales of music because the 2/1 relationship can be formed in the form of square root of 2/1, as well as 2/1 of the Great Pyramid's King's Chamber, right? Which is doubling an octave. It's an octave and unison note. It's inverted, becomes a unison note. And then we have also the square root of 2/1, which becomes the diminished fifth, the augmented fourth. We now have 8 of the musical intervals that make a scale in the Giza Plateau. And then when you count the Giza Plateau, the northeast corner of the Great Pyramid to the southwest corner of Menkaure Pyramid and make a rectangle, it makes a proportion that is 432 to 528.
Wow.
Okay. The Ida and the Pingala, two snakes, right? They're just perpendicular to each other, 90-degree offset.
Yeah.
And also it gives you the major second or the minor second and the major seventh off the field as well.
Yeah.
Just by taking a diagonal across the entire Giza Plateau. So now we've got, oh my gosh, we've got 9 out of the 13 intervals just in those structures.
Yeah.
But then how do we find the other 4? So I started on the hunt. I looked at Abu Rawash.
Yeah.
Maybe they're up there. And I found one of them was matching what could have been the minor third.
Wow.
Which was one of the missing notes. And that is the pyramid that's on the back of the dollar bill.
Really?
The dollar bill pyramid has a 67.38-degree angle with an eye of Providence on the top.
Yes.
This is esoteric knowledge embedded within that.
Right.
And by the way, if I took a square at the base of the dollar bill pyramid and I put a circle, right, also to show the top of the circle would be the exact point of the pyramid.
Right.
The circle and square combination would be exactly the Leonardo da Vinci square and circle combination in the Vitruvian Man.
Wow.
The circle and square combination is an encryption for that exact same 67-degree angle.
Yeah.
That makes a perfect triangle. The perfect triangle is like squaring the circle.
Yeah.
The perfect triangle is the triangle whose perimeter is equal to its area. And that's a 5, 12, 13, 1/2 proportion.
Yeah.
You double that, you've got 30 for the area, 30 for the perimeter. But then you've got time as well because 1/2 of it, so the one side of it, the 5, 12, 13 proportion, gives you 30 seconds of masculine and 30 seconds of feminine.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's relational to time. So then I started figuring out, okay, what are the pyramids at Abu Rawash, which was 4.32 exactly nautical miles from the Great Pyramid. So 4.32 nautical miles. Yeah. The speed of light.
432 again shows up.
The speed of light in nautical miles is the golden number. 161,811 nautical miles per second is the speed of light.
Wow.
1618, come on. Because we're in a matrix. Once you start realizing that it's a matrix, you start unraveling the whole thing. So 4.32 kilometers away, nautical miles away, is 8 kilometers exactly. And so I find 2 pyramids up there. Yeah. They sit on a plateau that's 300 feet higher than the Giza Plateau. The 2 pyramids that are there are called the Djed Khafre Pyramids.
Okay.
One is a satellite that's identical to the one that's on the backside of the dollar bill. And in fact, if you count the number of blocks, because it's semi-destroyed, it's got 10 concourses on it. If you count the number of blocks per each concourse, it matches what's on the dollar bill.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because you can see those blocks on the back of the dollar
exactly matches the ones on the dollar bill.
Wow.
Okay. So, and by the way, the pyramid that's behind it is an equilateral triangle pyramid. So very steep slope angle and has the same base width as Khafre Pyramid, which is like 300 and it's 172.8 feet.
Okay.
Right? One half base. So it's 345.6 feet for the full base width.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it has a 60-degree angular slope compared to the 51.34 degrees of Khafre Pyramid.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. You're sitting 300 feet higher on the plateau. You have a 60-degree slope angle. And this pyramid's destroyed. Yeah. There's only like 25 or 30 concourses you can still see.
Wow.
And the blocks are rose granite. The whole pyramid was covered with casing stone of rose granite.
Damn.
The rose granite blocks have been thrown all over the area, hundreds of meters away, like they exploded out.
Right.
This pyramid is matching the proportions of the pituitary gland. Giza Plateau is the throat chakra. That's why it takes the Orion's belt, because Orion's responsible in Taurus for the throat. That's why he's got the bull on top of the throat. And the Abu-Rawash Plateau is the crown. The pituitary gland is the equilateral triangle.
Okay.
So think of the Philosopher's Stone, which is the equilateral triangle with the square inscribed within it, with the circle inscribed within that.
Yep.
Teal Swan has it tattooed on her arm. Then you have the other, which is the Atalanta Fusions version of it, which is Michael Meyer, who did a 67.38 degree angle triangle.
Yeah.
So it's a steeper triangle, and that's the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the same proportion, and the pituitary gland. Wow. The two together come together to make the crown. So here's Nimrod, son of Cush, who builds these pyramids high, high up. How tall is the Great Pyramid, Billy? Do you know?
I think it's 481
feet.
or something like
481 feet. Guess how high this pyramid would have been?
But double?
599
okay. Wow.
feet.
Wow.
So 600 feet high when you look at it from the Giza Plateau.
And because it's elevated.
Shining as crystal.
Wow.
It's rose granite.
Yeah.
Most expensive, most difficult stuff to quarry.
And it was elevated on the plateau.
It's elevated on the plateau. So its height in total, right, without being higher on the plateau, it would have been 300 feet high. But because it's got the extra plateau underneath it, and that's where Nimrod would have built, because he didn't want to be under the floodplain.
Yeah. Well,
so this would have been the tallest building by perception everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And this is the tallest, highest point in all of the Memphite necropolis as well, all the way to the sea.
And we know in two ancient texts it was destroyed. Well, one ancient, one's not so ancient. One is the ancient Sumerian text, talks about that being destroyed. And in the biblical text, it talks about having the Tower of Babel being destroyed.
I believe this is the Tower of Babel.
And then you can see the debris laying all around. You showed me in the video, the debris laying out all over the place.
And it's right across from Babylon, Cairo.
Yeah. Wow.
On the Gihon River.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Wow.
That could be it right there, man. That's mind-blowing.
That's mind-blowing. So it's the crown chakra. But wait, so maybe, is there a story to the whole confounding of language? Some would say that maybe before that time we had telepathy. If this is a reference to the crown chakra, and it was destroyed, we don't know how or why it was destroyed necessarily.
Yeah.
Did we lose our ability of our crown chakra to be able to, operate telepathically?
Right. That would make sense, because we know that there were many different languages in existence already if you wanted to verbally speak. However, there are accounts of people utilizing psychic abilities and telepathy to communicate or read things. And matter of fact, just recently, scientists in a laboratory were able to make a psychic connection between two people, a telepathic connection within two people. And also, they visited a person in their dream, gave them information in the dream, and then let them, when they woke up, they had the information.
Okay.
So now they're connecting to this field, this Akashic record, which means if we're doing it now, it was already done in the past. We're just rediscovering what was already done.
We had 9 of the 13 musical intervals with just Giza Plateau.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe Abu-Rawash would be the others. But something was interesting, because it was a 5, 12, 13 proportion. Because it's over, 12 is 2.4 times 5.
Yeah.
Right? That means it does fulfill one of the missing notes, but that's the minor third and the major sixth. But it does it in the next octave.
Okay.
So it's not the same octave. So it was sort of like, And then the equilateral pyramid does it as well, but then you have to realize there's a 24-note matrix. So, there's a big argument between 432 and 528.
Yeah.
Which one is more healing?
Right.
They're both part of the same scale. In a 24-note scale, all the pentatonic scales of the indigenous peoples, as well as all the musical systems in the West and the East, come together in one scale. And that one scale, 528 becomes one of the C note positions for 432 as A.
Gotcha.
So it's literally one scale that we've just divided up.
Yeah. One scale. And they both are really the love frequency. Harmonically, they're great for DNA.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're both right.
Yeah.
So this is the funny paradox of all of it. It's just like the cylinder versus, it's like it's the exact same argument. Is it a square? Is it a is it a rectangle? Is it a circle? No, it's a cylinder, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. We are in that stage right now. We're starting to realize that all the things that we thought we were right about, that's why it's worthless to be right, because there is no right.
Right.
Everything's right and everything's equally wrong. It's just how you look at it, where your perception is on it. And that also happens with science, because it all becomes self-affirming, self-confirmation bias. All the scientific method is a system of confirmation bias.
That's all it is.
That's all that it is. But I did find it funny that, the two snakes, the Ida and Pingala, right? Even COVID, in the first article that came out in Scientific American about it, analyzing the DNA of COVID, they found that it was made up of two snakes' venom.
Yes.
And it was the Asian asp and the king cobra together, right? So that's interesting, because it's a corona or crown virus, like crown chakra virus activated by two snakes.
Which is ancient.
Come on, right? So which is part of a game. It's all part of a game. There's no such thing. That's why I don't worry anymore. It's like the villains and everything. You have to realize that we are as much the villain as we are the hero. We just have a self-affirming bias to believe that we're a hero. But we are just as much the villain. We've
given ourselves the illusion of individuality and the illusion of separation.
And so therefore you have to be right. So this is the separation of ego. And we need the ego to go through the experience of ascending up through the chakras. Because it's like, okay, I'm on my fourth chakra. There's like an ego separation for that. It's like working out in the gym or something, right? You got to have a picture of yourself on the wall where you're all ripped and shredded and stuff. And so this is what we're doing. But when we finally get to the crown chakra, something changes. There are these energetic knots that are between the root and the sacral. And it's called the Brahman.
Okay.
Granti. Granti. G-R-A-N-T, like my name, H-I.
Wow.
Right? The Granti, or the energetic knots. The Sanskrit name of the universe is the cosmic Granti.
Wow.
It's a knot.
First I've heard that term. It's the first time I've heard that.
Now you'll start looking this up. So then the next one is called the Vishnu Granti. Right?
So I know about Vishnu, but not God. So Vishnu is one of the ancient
Indian gods. And Brahman as well, right? Brahman, Vishnu.
Okay.
And then the last one is called the Rudra. Rudra is a reference to Rama. Rud just means crying or weeping or angry. It's like the Kali version of Shiva before he becomes Shiva. So Rudra is Rama, who comes up through the story of Orion, comes to the doorway of the Ra Granti.
Wow.
The Ra Granti.
Wow.
Come on.
I got to look this. This is crazy.
This is pretty crazy, right? And this is the doorway to no one. This is the door where you're supposed to leave your identity behind. This ego no longer serves a purpose. And this is when you have to realize that in order for you to become no one, you also simultaneously realize that you are everyone. And you've now awakened from the dream.
Right.
And this is the full awakening. This is what Thoth did. Thoth had to go when his father told him, right? And he went out of the Agwanti. And he ended up becoming no one so that he could become everyone. Right? And this is where this happens. It's not only known as the Rudra Granti, but it's also known as the Shiva Granti. Shiva's knot. It's an energetic knot that stops the Kundalini life force from penetrating through too much. Once you do fully penetrate, then it becomes a permanent thing. We'll have moments of enlightening, but we're not at the stage of full enlightenment, right? Until you can penetrate through. And by the way, you can't do it until the earth. You can't fully do this. No one has done this in the last 13,000 years. You can't do it until the earth is in the right place in the cycle to do it, because that becomes the limiter. Earth also must be going through its penetration of the Rudra Granthi and its ascension. So Jesus and Buddha and all these people, they got as enlightened as they possibly could, but what's about to happen on Earth is going to surpass what all of them experienced.
Right, as it should, because even in the biblical text, Jesus said, you are to do greater things than I.
Yes. It's a function, you know, just like when he said in the Last Supper discussion, right? It shows up in John, where he says, you know, look for the man carrying water, right, in the age of Aquarius. He knew, and that's why Da Vinci depicted the painting as the position of looking at the room from the age of Aquarius.
Right.
So basically, you go through each of these, and in order to get past the throat chakra, you have to penetrate through the Rudra. The way that you penetrate through the Rudra is you have to get to the next octave. That's why the 2.4 relationship had to be there to get into the next octave, which then lights up all the rest of the octave that comes above.
Gotcha.
Right? So basically what happens is you get up to the throat, and there are 3 levels of the throat chakra, which is self-awareness. So become self-aware, then self-actualization. You start learning manifestation and things like this. And then you get beyond that to this magic stage, which is called the Hierophant, or it's also referred, so Melchizedek was the Hierophant. Or it can also be called the self-transcendence stage. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs takes us to self-actualization, but it was Carl Jung and Maslow who were both wanting to make another segment above that, which Carl Jung called individuation and enlightenment. And Maslow, before he died, was going to call it self-transcendence. It's when you transcend the self, you leave your name behind and go into nothingness to become everythingness. And it's a very beautiful thing. So I could see that the mathematics of the pyramids on Abu Rawash were somehow related to those lower octave positions, but they were all in the higher octave mathematics. So I was like, this doesn't really work. So it was cold comfort for me. So I knew that there had to be on the Giza Plateau, which is really a reference to what we're experiencing here in this world.
Right.
There had to be 2 more pyramids to fill those musical notes.
Incredible. And you found them.
So I went in December. I met with the Giza Plateau management leadership, which I know very well. And I showed them the maps of Fra Mauro, 3 maps. One was by Fra Mauro in 1457, the same one that had Gihon and pointed to Babylonia and all that instead of, you know, the name of Cairo. And then I went to another map, which is called the Pocock map, which was from 1743. He was a cartographer and explorer who also, you know, did detailed drawings of Giza Plateau. And he depicted 5 pyramids. And he shows you exactly where they are. Then there was a third map, which is by a fellow by the name of Norden. And Norden made this map in 1755. He did not have 5 pyramids, he had 4 pyramids. And he shows the exact placement from an aerial view of the 4th pyramid. Now, the Egyptian authorities thought, because people had talked to them about these maps before, and they said, okay, well, this just must be the Queen's Pyramid. So there's one satellite pyramid that's on right next to Menkaure Pyramid that has the shape. It's not a step-style pyramid. It's a full pyramid, and it's called the Queen's Pyramid. So there are 3 satellites there by Menkaure. And so they thought that from the ground view, that's what he was basically showing, because it's out of perspective, right? And so it's kind of off in the distance, and so no, it must just be that. But I did the actual mathematics and the review of the perspective drawing, and then also having the benefit of the aerial view showed that it could never be that pyramid. It was way too far away. So I said, I want to go and look at this. I have also the satellite photography, so I showed the satellite photography, and it looked like there were mounds there, but I couldn't tell, you know, really well. And so they said, okay, you can go. Go. And they sent a guy with me who videotaped me. And they said, if you find blocks, we'll excavate.
Wow. And you found blocks.
And 5 minutes later, I literally went to the spot, and you've seen the video.
I saw it.
I went to the exact spot where the map showed that there were 2 other pyramids, and there were pyramids under the sand.
Boom, right there.
And they literally looked like pyramids hidden under the sand.
Yeah.
And there were blocks sticking out and debris from the pyramid all over the place.
Wow. Yeah, I saw in the video.
And they matched the slope angles.
That's what I was going to say. I saw in the video that based on the way that you were walking up, it looked like the angle would have been very similar.
it would have been the last two angles that are necessary to fill out the entire octave of expression on the Giza Plateau.
Wow.
So what does this do? First of all, it's kind of amazing that now, I guess, all the pictures and iconography and everything of Giza having 3 pyramids, now it's going to have 5, right? And I'm not saying that there absolutely are pyramids yet. We have to excavate, but I'm highly, highly, highly confident that I went back again and got more photography and everything, that these are absolutely pyramids. They, like, literally, you climb up the side, it's on a flat plateau.
Yeah.
It's 2 new pyramids. But what's interesting about it is that it kind of blows up the thesis, just as the underground structure of Khafre, if true, blows up the thesis of this being Khafre, Menkaure, and, you know, a father, a son, a grandson, right? A second son of Jed Efre. And of course, the 2 pyramids on Abu Rawash, it's funny, they're called the Jed pyramids because the Jed is the pillar going to the crown chakra. Yeah. And it is the crown chakra. So all of the sacred sites along the Nile River down to Abu Simbel are literally all the chakras. Wow. So each of the temples are all dedicated to Osiris and Isis or Hathor or whatever. The heart chakra is exactly the masculine form of it, is the Osirian, and the feminine form of it is Hathor's temple.
Right.
So each one of these, like Kamambo temple, is a sacral.
Yeah.
It's where the dragon, right, which is the crocodile. Sobek is stored.
Crocodile gods.
Exactly. So each one of these is different chakras along the Nile. And then the Nile tributaries come out of the Brahmarandra, which is the hole at the top of your head, to form a lotus flower.
Wow.
With 7 colors. And how many Nile tributaries are there? 7.
7. Yep. The 7 lords in the Emerald Tablets. That's amazing. It's so much amazing information. You know, a lot of people have gone to Egypt and just gotten the surface visit where they just go and get a guide and look around. But when you really listen to some of the things you're talking about and you really expand your mind and you start really digging and researching, you discover these ancient connections to not only us, but to everyone in the world that really can affect and change humanity as we know it.
We are not what we think we are. You know, it's Buddha that said, I am not what you think I am. Yeah. You are what you think I am. Yeah. That's profound. Yeah. Because basically we push all of these aspects trying to get rid of our darkness. You know, we look in the mirror and we say, oh, I don't like the way my butt looks. I don't like the way my hips look, whatever. So what happens is we end up pushing the traits, negative characteristics that we don't like about ourselves into our outer world. So then we start judging everyone with big butts and weird shaped hips or whatever. Yeah. Whatever it is. Or that's just a metaphor for other character traits in their personality.
True.
You know, people that say, I'm surrounded by assholes. Bro, you're the asshole.
Right. Yeah.
If you're surrounded by assholes, it's because you're the asshole.
It is what it is.
Flash.
Like the Mayans used to say, in lakek alakin, I am another you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is so perfectly said because it literally is, you are what you think I am.
Yeah, it's powerful. Like I said in my podcast the other day, I told everyone, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. People are disagreeing with the current administration. They're disagreeing with, of course, all the toxins and everything else that's going wrong. I said, but guys, at the end of the day, we have to look in the mirror and point back at ourselves. We're the ones that allowed all of this. We're the ones that are allowing it on a daily basis. It's us. It's not them.
I am so, we talked about this in the car on the way over here. I am so sure that the way for us to change the world is to have people understand the illusion we're living.
Facts.
And once they do, and that they create it, if you don't like the wars around you, then get rid of the wars within you. You are creating your own experience. It's literally your you inverse. It's everything that you don't like about yourself and like that are basically projected in the world around you. And we learn through opposites. So if I'm here to learn unconditional love, then I'm going to be plagued in my lifetime until I wake up to this with experiencing betrayal, the opposite of unconditional love. And until I finally learn to accept the existence of betrayal in the world, I don't have to love it. I don't have to condone it. I just have to accept that it exists and not try to get rid of it. Until I've actually gotten to that moment where I can accept betrayal as a concept, I have not yet learned unconditional love.
True.
So we learn through the opposites. We must learn. If you're here, if you believe you're here to learn love, how to love someone, then you're going to experience a life of you're not receiving any love.
Yeah.
Until you learn to accept that.
Yeah.
So we're literally creating our matrix of experience moment in and moment out. Yeah. And until you realize that there's a purpose behind it, that your ascension is what's happening here, and that each individualized experience that you have is something that you chose, it doesn't even make sense anymore to ask the question, why did something happen to me?
Right.
Because nothing happens to you. You ask the question rather, why did I choose what I chose?
Yeah.
What was I intending to learn through this experience? Then you're starting to emulate and embody God consciousness.
That's it. Absolutely. That's how you ascend. That's how you become an ascended master. Yeah. Robert, man, amazing podcast. I mean, so much knowledge, so much information. Now, we can do this forever. We can keep going. Literally.
We've been doing it like this for like 6 years already.
I know. It's amazing how fast time flies. Gee, crazy. We've done workshops together. We've gone
trips together,
hiking together, and trips to the Bora Bora. We've been in pyramids together. I mean, this is crazy. But I thank you, man, for coming on today. I appreciate you. I never got a chance to really thank you for writing the foreword to my book. I want to make sure I get you that now. I dropped that. But this is Fractal Holographic Universe, The Matrix Code Revealed, which Robert Grant wrote the foreword to. Thank you, sir. Yeah,
that was I remember the day very well when you texted me. You're like, dude, I'm going on Joe Rogan and I need you to write this foreword like now.
Yeah.
And so I was in Scotland.
Yes, you were. You were getting knighted.
Yes. Yeah. I was on my way to get knighted, but I was in Scotland.
Yeah.
First, I was going to Italy to get knighted, but and I wrote it on an airplane.
Wow, it was amazing.
And got it to you as quickly as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And it's been a great honor knowing you. And you know, it's so easy to lose sight of why we're here. It is through our relationships.
Yeah.
You know, one last thing I'll say is that if we're here to learn love, how to love and be loved, then at some stage in our life, you could say there's a stage where you actually achieve true self-love.
Yeah.
Because that's where it all converges. That's the singularity. It's how to love yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you learn truly how to love yourself, then the whole world around you transforms.
Yeah.
And so along the journey, you meet people along the way. And each of the people you meet, whether they're friendships or whether they're relationships or whatever, every circumstance, every experience you have is divine when you start realizing the divinity that's behind all of it. And the relationships you have become mirrors of the degree to which you love yourself. The people that you meet, if you've got a relationship that they're beating the shit out of you, that's because you're beating the shit out of yourself.
Absolutely. It's a mirror.
It's a mirror. If you start finding divine love in another partner, that's because you're finally starting to love yourself. And we finally get to that point through our relationships, through time. And it's been an honor to have you as a friend and be a mirror for me and get to know you. And I know your heart and I know all the work you do. And it's not always going to be perfect.
No.
I'm definitely not perfect. Definitely not perfect. I've been married 3 times. So definitely not perfect. And I don't want to set myself up. And I gave a whole podcast recently. I'm like, I'm not your guru. I literally was like, because I had an aversion to that. Like, and I had to like examine that too, because I started feeling on my last trip to Egypt that like people were treating me like I was a guru. And I'm like, yo, no, I'm not that. Okay. But then all the things that you believe that you are not, there is a part of you that is.
Yeah, true.
And it has to be accepted too.
Yeah.
So I thank you for all your hard work and what you do.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that was another amazing 4-Bit Knowledge podcast. Make sure you guys go get the 4-Bit Knowledge TV app on your app store. And also, tell them where they can find you, Robert.
You can find me on my website, robertedwardgrant.com. I mean, on Instagram, Robert Edward Grant. You know, I was named after 2 Civil War generals, right? Robert Edward Lee, right? And Ulysses S. Grant. Ulysses is from the Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's the name of Odysseus. And Robert Edward Lee and General Grant were the North and the South, the light and the dark. The battle of the Civil War within.
Yeah.
Everything is symbolic, even your name.
Yep.
Everything that you experience is all symbolic. So I'm as I'm uncovering all of these little things, right? It's so beautiful to see it. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube on the same name, on all the different channels, all the different social platforms. And thank you very much, and send me love.
All right, peace. Watch this video for free at www.4bk.tv or download the app on your smartphone, Fire Stick app, Samsung TV, Roku, and other app providers. Join a conscious community that is helping awaken humanity to the forbidden knowledge and a path to a brighter future.